Good morning and welcome. I'm John Gray, and I have the privilege of being your director of your National Museum of American History. We are so honored to extend a very special welcome to First Lady Trump. It is a thrill to have you with us, and we're so privileged to have this donation ceremony in our flag hall. The Secretary of the Smithsonian, Dr. David Skorton, and the designer of the dress, Mr. Yves Pierre. To our board chair, Ambassador Nicholas Taubman, many members of our board who are with us, and to all of our distinguished guests, we welcome you and thank you for your support. Millions of Americans and so many other visitors from every corner of the world walk through our First Ladies' galleries each year. They experience not only the importance, grandeur, and elegance of the First Ladies, but they reflect on how, in our American democracy, transitions of power are celebrated peacefully. Exhibitions and collections like the one that will house Mrs. Trump's gown require the skill and passion of our extraordinary staff at the National Museum of American History. They create what the public sees and loves, creating the transformative experience that only history can offer. And we thank all the staff who have worked on this. Just behind us lies the hallowed Star-Spangled Banner, preserved for future generations with our stories of America. And to my right is Horatio Greeno's iconic statue of George Washington offering his sword and the power it represents back to the people. These two national treasures remind us of our responsibility to foster the strongest and most vibrant democracy. Later this morning, Mrs. Trump's inaugural gown, our newest national treasure, will be installed in the First Lady's exhibition, another beautiful symbol of the enduring power of our democracy. Mrs. Trump, it is a tremendous honor to have you and your guests join with the Smithsonian in a tradition that goes back more than 100 years. The presentation of the First Lady's inaugural gown to the Smithsonian's national collections, and we thank you. Here at the National Museum, we preserve and share a collection of national treasures on behalf of the American people to demonstrate the power of American history to help us make sense of the past and shape a more humane future. We are working to bring the nation together around those fundamental American ideals and ideas like freedom, opportunity, and democracy that join us as a people. Mrs. Trump, we are grateful to you for entrusting us with this magnificent gown. And we assure you it will be cared for in the same spirit and with the same attention as all of our national treasures. In just a few hours, when the gallery reopens to the public, the nation and the world will share this moment forever. It is now my pleasure to introduce the 13th Secretary of the Smithsonian, Dr. David Skorton, who embodies so many fundamental American ideas. A first-generation American, cardiologist, jazz flutist, university leader, champion of the arts and humanities, and an advocate for the most important issues of our time. Secretary Skorton.
Thank you, John. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Mrs. Trump, again, thank you very, very much for donating this and for being a part of the Smithsonian. Thank you. Distinguished guests, welcome to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History on the National Mall of the United States. This museum, as Director Gray said, has been collecting gowns for the First Lady's collection for more than a century, and it is and remains one of the most popular exhibitions in the entire Smithsonian. On behalf of the Smithsonian, I want to thank you again, Mrs. Trump, for your generosity in allowing us to add to this collection. And again, my thanks and admiration to you, Mr. Pierre, for collaborating on the design of this very, very beautiful gown. Since its opening in 1964, this museum has embodied the Smithsonian's dedication to telling America's story to millions of national and international visitors every year. We tell that story through the words and actions of people, both famous and obscure. We inspire students through educational programs that reach them here in our museums and in their homes and classrooms across the nation. And objects and artifacts help put that history into sharp focus and context. This gown is the height of fashion, something that pleases us aesthetically with its beauty and craftsmanship and elegance. The aesthetics that drive artistic endeavor also captivate us. It is our uniquely human response. Designer Miuccia Prada said, "Fashion is instant language." These gowns certainly speak to us, telling us much about the accomplished women who wore them. Each First Lady left an indelible mark on the White House and on this nation. And now Mrs. Trump's inaugural gown will take its rightful place among the collection that includes Martha Washington's pink hand-painted silk gown, Michelle Obama's white silk chiffon gown, and many others from our nation's 241-year history. And because this is an inaugural gown, like many others in the First Lady's collection, it also helps underscore our values as a nation. This gown, as Director Grace said, is emblematic of the peaceful transition of power that is the hallmark of this democracy. It reminds us that our ideals still resonate over 200 years later, that for all our flaws, this nation is founded on a government by the people and for the people and will endure. Thanks to the administration and Congress and everyone here at the National Museum of American History for helping us in our mission to educate and inspire. And now it is my honor to ask you to join me in welcoming the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your warm welcome. It is an honor to be here today. I want to start by thanking Director John Gray and Secretary David Scourton for the wonderful introduction. The staff here and at Smithsonian have been a true pleasure to work with. Thank you for everything that you do to help preserve parts of our nation's history. As historians and curators, you have such an important role on behalf of our country. While I'm maybe the one on stage, I want to take a moment to introduce you to the person behind my gorgeous couture piece, the designer, Mr. Hervé Pierre. Thank you, Hervé. Please stand up. Thank you. Thank you, Hervé, for all that you did to create such a wonderful piece. You are a true artist and a real professional. As most of you know, before being elected president, my husband was never in politics. So you can imagine that after he won, we were very busy with all that goes into preparing for a new administration and all the changes that we as a family would be facing. To be honest, what I would wear to the inaugural ball was the last thing on my mind. In fact, by the time I got around to thinking about my wardrobe choice, poor Hervé was only given 2 weeks to design and produce this couture piece. We had never worked together before, but I knew of his stellar reputation and wanted to work with someone who would do more than just design a dress. I wanted someone who would be willing to collaborate with me, and Hervé exceeded my expectations. I have had a passion for design from a very young age and had a very precise idea of what I wanted for such a historic evening. When sitting down with Hervé to discuss my vision, I expressed a desire for modern, sleek, light, unique, and unexpected look. I must tell you that it can be a daunting task to choose an outfit that will be mesmerized and become part of our nation's story and forever history. I was so pleased with our end result, and it is now my hope that this piece is one of the many great beginnings to our family's history here in Washington, D.C. The President, Baron, and I love living here, and we are so honored to represent this country. The Smithsonian has the unique honor and ability to freeze time and tell future generations the stories of our nation's history. I'm so honored and grateful to become part of this history, and thank you all for being here with me today. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.